Hi, my name is Frank Valentic, Director and Buyers and Vendors Advocate at Advantage Property Consulting. Well, we're getting a lot of questions about whether you can sell a property with a tenant in the property at present. There's a lot of confusion. So firstly, it depends on whether the tenant is on a lease or not. Obviously, if they've got a lease, then that has to be honoured, and the tenant must stay at the property unless it's mutually agreed to terminate earlier. So you can't get rid of a tenant if they're already on a lease. So secondly, we're seeing a lot of our vendors make mistakes where they're looking to sell a property and they've got a long-term lease still in place. Now, this is cutting out a major part of the market, which is the owner-occupiers. There are some investors in the marketplace, but there's not as many at the moment. So the main target market is owner-occupiers. If you've got a lease in place for another 6 to 12 months, then that will cut out a lot of that market because they want to move in sooner rather than later in most instances. Another mistake we're seeing is vendors are selling with a tenant there when the tenant has got the property presented to a very poor standard. Now, this will definitely impact the sale, and it can be cluttered. The furniture cannot look great, it can look quite messy. Obviously, there's the photos which gives the first impression of a property, and if a property is not presented well and hasn't got styling furniture in there, it can also have that real negative first impression, and prospective buyers won't even come through the property. So what we're advising most of our vendors to do is firstly, after we inspect the property, and if it's not presented well, then we'll look to issue a notice to the tenant if they are on a monthly tenancy. Now, that notice can still be issued to tenants now if you're selling, unless the tenant is under financial hardship and is basically dealing with one of the job seeker or job keeper packages. Then there is a harder task to get rid of tenants at the moment. So there is some confusion there. If the tenant is not on those packages, then a vendor can still sell a property. We would recommend getting the tenant out, presenting with high furniture, and also now with the restrictions in terms of inspections, it'll make it a lot easier to do private appointments through those properties and sell it. So there is a lot of confusion. You can still sell your property if you've got a tenant in there. You've just got to follow the right strategy. Otherwise, it will definitely impact the selling price in the end. Please don't hesitate to get on our website, check out information about our Buyers Advocate, Sellers Advocate, Property Management, and our group of purchases, as well as subscribe to our free weekly and monthly market updates. We'll see you next time.